Let's take a listen at this one because looks like ICE is not killing people just on the street. They're also killing people who are under their custody. This is getting crazier and crazier every day. Before I play the video, not subscribe to my channel, consider subscribing, like this video, share this video.
For helping us to understand what you saw. Do you agree, or are you worried after seeing Liam about his energy, about what he's been through? Tell us your observations.
Yeah, so I want to be clear. I am gravely concerned about Liam, as I am all the children that we were able to see. There was a common kind of note that was struck by every single parent that we were able to speak with. Their concern was for their children. The children right now are depressed. They're not getting any education at all. Many of them are not eating. They are throwing up. We had reports about issues with the water, so we made sure that we actually took a sample of the water for ourselves to be able to test. But I don't even know if what I saw out of Liam was sleep, because I've dealt with a lot of kids, and when I tried to touch him, tried to move him just to see if I could get his eyes to open, his eyes never opened. We never saw his eyes open the entire time we were there, and he did not necessarily seem like he was asleep. There wasn't kind of the heavy breathing sometimes that occurs when you're asleep. I was very concerned about his appearance, as well as he appeared a bit pale.
What do you think might be going on then?
I have no idea. I mean, we also talked to the psychiatrist that is at the facility, as well as the nurse practitioner. They indicated that there are a lot of people that struggle with the depression, and Liam's father told us that Liam had been asking about his mom and crying for his mom, who happens to be 4 months pregnant and had to be hospitalized once she received information about what happened to her husband and her child. So, do I believe that he's depressed? Yes. But the reports of children not eating is very concerning, and it seems like the administration there does not want to do anything to kind of make sure that these children are getting at least some of the nutrition that they need.
Well, you and Congressman Castro were very clear. You're calling for his release. Did you get any answers as to why he's still there, and is there any hope of getting him out?
Yeah, basically the answer was our hands are tied. This is, higher than our pay goes, right? Like basically, like this is a DC thing. I do want to back up to something you were saying, though, in your previous conversation, as we go through these negotiations and Senate Dems are thinking about what it is that they're going to do. I think that our negotiation should empower the people and should empower the people's attorneys. I don't trust the idea that we should say, hey, don't break the law, and then they're not going to break the law. It's already against the law to do half the things that we're asking them to do. We're basically asking them, please just follow the law. I want to do things like, let's look at a real speedy trial issue as relates to detainees. We have speedy trial for everything else. Let's put some timelines on this. Let's put some more parameters that empower their attorneys to get people out of custody that are suffering right now. Those are the things that we should be doing. We should be working on a pathway to citizenship. We should be using this moment to make sure that we give the resources and tools, not only to make sure that we're keeping our border safe, but also that the resources are there to actually process cases so we know who has real asylum cases and who doesn't. And the final point that I'll make is so many of these people are sitting in custody, and I'm so tired of hearing they're illegal, illegal, illegal. I am tired of hearing they did it the wrong way. That was not the story that I heard from so many people. They were, quote unquote, doing it the right way. They were showing up to their meetings, and then they were being hauled off when they were showing up, or they were showing up to court and they were being hauled off. I am tired of the nonsense. Let's be honest. This administration has decided that it wants to target anybody who has a little bit of melanin in their skin, or target people simply because of an accent. That is not who we are supposed to be as Americans, and it is time for us to call a thing and say that we're going to do better. But right now, I don't trust this administration to do anything that involves them following the law. So the best thing that we can do is empower their attorneys so that when they get to court, because it seems like the only branch of government that hasn't completely failed us right now is the judiciary.
Well, one of the things
we have a Minnesota judge claiming that ICE, they have violated laws 100 times. Now, this report from Jasmine Crockett is going to be a huge setback for Trump and his administration, because this reports, these facts, these investigations that getting public, people are taking notice of this more than they had ever been before, especially after Renee Good and Alex Perry's death. People are now very, very worried, not only the life of these quote-unquote illegal immigrants, but also their own lives. So these are making headlines.
We've been seeing, and we have gotten numerous reports about, particularly in Minneapolis, is people getting picked up. They say they're citizens. They say they want a chance to show their papers. They want a chance to show their passport. And yet they get sent to Texas. And then even when they're released, as we've heard from family and friends, they have to raise money to get them back, sometimes on flights. Sometimes what they can afford is a bus. I'm curious about the story you heard from Liam's dad and other people inside, other adults inside that facility.
Yeah, so obviously if they're still there, they're not out. We've talked about some of the bond hearings being pushed off over and over and over. They would set them for the bond hearings, then they wouldn't have them. I talked to one family where It was actually a Russian family out of Florida, and the father actually owns a trucking business, and he's concerned about whether or not his business will still exist when he finally gets back. But he was denied bond, his wife was denied bond, his daughter was denied bond. She's a senior in high school who's looking forward to heading off to college, and his son actually was granted bond. So his son actually recently got out. He then said that in a later bond hearing that had just taken place, actually the morning that we visited, they finally granted them bond, and he was hoping that he was going to be out on today. But they are talking about the strains on trying to get those funds when, again, we're talking about people that were, quote unquote, doing it the right way, and they are trying to do everything that they can to intimidate them. We talked to another woman who was crying profusely, who's from Cuba, and she was saying that basically they twisted her arm and said, if you want to get out, the only thing that you can do is self-deport, and we're sending you to Ecuador. And she was crying and crying and crying, and she had her baby boy who was 2 years old with her. The stories are so wild and far-ranging. Another woman out of Colorado who had been in this country for 7 years, she's Venezuelan, and basically she said that she was told you need to self-deport. And so her and her husband, who had met all of their meetings, had done everything, they were working through their case, and she said that she was then trying to cross into Canada because she had been working with an attorney. They had worked it out where she could go to Canada, and it was at the border that they grabbed her and said no, and said that she was trying to run away from the process. I mean, these are people. In fact, the very first question that I asked when I got in was, how many of these people are, quote unquote, the bad ones? How many of them have criminal records? The answer was none. None. So you have a facility that is full of more than 1,000 people, and they don't have criminal records. This isn't what the Trump administration promised. I think for everyone who was looking to make sure that our country was going to be kept safe, and they may have decided that immigration was their issue, they went with Donald Trump because they felt like he would keep them safe. But instead, he is the one that is bringing crime to our doors. He is the one that is attacking our neighbors and our friends. And frankly,
of course, Donald Trump doesn't care about anybody. He is a racist. If you have a skin color, if you have an accent, as Jasmine Crockett said, you will be targeted. It doesn't have to be that you are illegal or legal, doesn't matter. You'll be picked up by ICE. Now, this, again, is going to be exposing Trump's evil plot against people of color, and hopefully it will become vital. This finding of Jasmine Crockett will get vital and will get the attention from the nation, from all the citizens of the United States. Subscribe for more videos. In the next one.